Well, hello there, everyone. Good evening. It's Tuesday, October 12th, 2021. Let's talk about a stock market update. A pretty good day on the market for a lot of the stocks that I talk about and that we follow here in this Google Sheet. You're looking at a Google Sheet with a bunch of Google finance formulas. Ironically, Google did not have a good day, actually, stock-wise, if we take a look at them. But I keep track of at one point, every ticker that was on both the NASDAQ and the NYSE. I have since shrunk it down to much less than that. It is 1,518 companies right now, and many will get deleted as they're delisted or as things change or as they're reviewed. So we'll get this list to under 1,000 for sure over the next few months. Now, as we go over the stocks that I personally invest in and buy long call options in, they're going to come out in this order. And the value is kind of highlighted or exaggerated or discussed right here, which is the percent of target price. This is a price where I think this stock is going to get to over the next quarter. I know that's crazy. Moderna gets to 750. I'm like, yeah, when you're vaccinating the world against disease, people will eventually realize that we're going to be doing that for like 7 trillion people. Billion people. No, there's not trillion people, right? 7 billion people, 8 billion people. That's what's going to happen. So, it's just, yeah, you watch that same thing with BioNTech doing mRNA type vaccine technology. That's the future. Molecular design of our vaccines makes them more effective and more targeted and variable and adjustable. It's a new day. It's a new world in biotechnology. And these two companies are leading the way. Moderna, my favorite, but BioNTech on the German side, partnering with Pfizer, producing this stuff. Both of them are up there. Anyway, I talk about them frequently. There's a few things that popped up today that I want to discuss because when I looked through all the stocks as I watched this today, you can see a lot of things up, right? Netflix down a little bit, but they've been on a really good run lately, so it's only a little bit. Canadian Solar, I'm going to talk about in a minute. Amazon about flat. Google, like I said, was down today. I don't know why. I didn't look into news, but they got a little cheaper, hanging out below. I have them at 29. I just moved them from 27.50 to 29 yesterday, and then they go and drop $40 today. But let's leave them until I dig into some news there. Tesla, again, strong day. Cost is over 800. I had already moved their target price to 850 because you could feel it coming, and they're getting on their run again. Great. Good for them. This will probably get moved to 900 probably by Thanksgiving, the way things go with them. Now, Chipotle up a little bit. Domino's is on here. Sherwin-Williams still hanging out below 300. Good value. They have a 1% day. If you tried to buy options today on Sherwin-Williams or Moderna, you had trouble if you didn't come in over the asking price for things because they just kind of went up steadily for most of the day. Now, what I want to talk about with Canadian Solar. So as we sorted this entire list by companies that went up the most today, and I've reviewed most of these, and I have a big old red stay away right here for whatever reason. Casinos are gambling, exactly. MGM, like reasons not to invest in companies. So a lot of these ones that will move high percentage gains in certain days are fluctuators, and they're not reliable, and they really are gambling. Stay away from that because you want to try to read into longer term trends and more sustainable trends. So as I was looking through them, I ran into Canadian Solar. And I started looking through their financials, and I wanted to be like, they've got a heavy short interest. 10% of the people that buy their stock are shorting them, which is going to try to drag their stock down. I don't want to have to work with this company. And then I started looking at their financials, and I'm like, wait a minute. Making a lot of solar wafers, revenue going up a lot, actually, in the last quarter, percentage-wise. They're not a small company. Like their market cap's actually, they're a mid cap right here. This is why I break down on this sheet a little breakdown of the company and where they fit in. We can see that the cap size of all the big companies I have on this list are all large caps, and this would be the only one that's smaller at a mid cap with a market cap of 2 billion, as opposed to these ones that are in tens of billions and even hundreds of billions and trillions here with Amazon and Alphabet. And Microsoft should be on here too, but for some reason they're not. Maybe they went up a little bit today. Where's Microsoft on here? Microsoft is usually on here. They are dropped down to 12th, I guess, because they're at 292. They lost a little bit, but didn't really move much. So anyway, so back to Canadian Solar for a second. So their revenue is better. Solar is better. I've always talked about how when we have all these rolling blackouts, when we have hurricanes, when we have freezing storms, when grids get knocked out, I'm like, why doesn't everybody just have like a Tesla Powerwall and a bunch of solar panels in the neighborhood? You could have like the neighborhood solar panel park, and everyone just like rolls their Powerwalls down there and charges them up like a supercharger, that rolls them back to the home on a gurney and plugs it in, and everyone always has power when there's no power on the grid. Like, why don't we do this? And it's companies like Canadian Solar that are going to supply solar panels. When we ever start doing the right things with solar panels and just using them for electricity all the time because we're just absorbing the energy of the sun for free, why not free? Why not free? Why pay for energy we can just get for free from the sun? I don't get it. Is it because the sun doesn't charge a tax? Is it because the sun doesn't have a good agent? Maybe. Maybe there's a reason the sun isn't good at business. The point is the sun's giving out energy. I think we're going to take advantage of it. This company's profits, as well as revenue, started to show that, so they just got on the list. Good for you, Canadian Solar. I'm buying an option. Now, another reason is look at their chart. This is another reason why I like to say that the charts are super helpful with a company like this. So financially, I think they're in great condition. They had over $1 billion in cash, I believe. I like what they're doing here. They had a big spike when people who were thinking the way I was thinking in the future did this, I guess, 9 months ago, right? Maybe toward the beginning of the year. So they had a big spike and then a lot of short interest because I guess they went up too fast, too soon. And so when they're sitting at 36 and they have a range of like 60 to 30, you can buy them under 40 because they're going to spike up again to here, and maybe even here if they continue to report good financials. So this is a good one. This is fun. Expect a lot of fluctuations with them, but you're getting on them for the right reasons because the more energy we get from the sun, the better we all are off, in my opinion. All right, so that's a new one that we found today in the list. Is there anything else of note that I wanted to talk about? Other than, I'll part with this, which is imagine, I talk about it so much. I always feel like I'm just repeating myself too much, but the reason why I keep this up here and this 41% looks so ridiculous. And anybody who says, Ken, you think they're going to double, and this company's going to double in value in the next few months? And I'm like, yeah, actually I do. And so when the news starts coming out of, oh yeah, it's time to vaccinate all the kids, because when the wintertime comes and we get less vitamin D and the virus is more harmful, we get sicker and people start to realize the value of the vaccine even more. Like anti-vaxxer crowd, that's going to be like a Neanderthal dying breed is what's actually going to happen to the anti-vaxxer crowd. Because it's not just going to be coronavirus that is going to be circulating through the population. There's going to be all types of things that are going to be circulating through the population. And we need to be able to protect ourselves on the molecular level. And a company like this is going to provide that bio-defense against what we need. So when you start getting stories about kids getting vaccinated, HIV getting cured with a vaccine, herpes getting cured with a vaccine, cystic fibrosis getting cured with a vaccine, cancer getting cured with a vaccine, you're just going to realize why this is going to happen. And and everyone will just be like, wow, Ken knew that a long time ago. Yep. Yep. So there you go. That's my advice for tomorrow. Just when you catch Moderna down like this for no reason, what? Merck came out with a pill? Yeah, good job, Merck. Good job, Merck. You came up with a pill. It's not a vaccine. It's not even close. And it's only reducing hospitalizations by 50%. It's not even FDA approved yet. That's why Moderna went down? Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Good luck, everyone. May all your trades be winning.